I
state.
don't have my math in front of me.
Yeah.
What would be the impact from statutory compliance, from legal postings, all of those different, if we were taking into consideration postponing the public?
Actually, that's a question for Ryan, because I've never had anybody ask me to postpone one before, so we've
Yeah, there's
done everything per statute up to this point.
Right, there's a drop dead date, and I can't recite it to you right now.
August 25th.
Well, it's August 25th to the county, but you have to back up from there, which is why we have it scheduled for
I'd have to
tonight.
back up all the statutory time frames.
Right. I can tell you this is the time frame.
All right. Somebody got their money's worth on this gal, huh? So we could potentially have a vote on the 18th and still be statutorily compliant. Is that what I'm hearing?
You could.
Actually, the budget needs.
It has to go to the county by August 25th, but if you make any changes, that doesn't allow much time for us to
Call a special.
You'd have to hold a special meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, could we hold a special meeting next week? I mean, I know
I mean,
we
we-
have to go through that, but we could.
Just for a
We
hearing?
could, and, you know, at the end of the day, when we adopted the governing body rules of procedure, I mean, it allows for public comment, after every agenda item has been presented. There's 2 weeks between now and, the August 4th day that we would adopt the budget. Plenty of time for anybody that's interested to contact staff, contact their elected officials, prepare questions to ask during public comments on August 4th, for consideration. I know we've got, doesn't it have to be posted with our paper of record for a certain amount of time before?
that's what you're doing now, because you've already done that. It was 10 days prior to the public hearing, which is what has already happened. It was published July 9th.
Okay.
I will also say that the notice of public hearing says that the detailed budget information is available at City Hall and will be available at this hearing, and it is.
Is that?
That's all per statute. That is per statute.
You
That
have
is-
to have that in that.
It had to be in that notice, and it was. That's exactly what the state provides.
So what publication notice, or what notices have to be publicized?
Just that.
No, I know, but if we were to delay the meeting, you'd have to, is that what the question that we don't know the answer to?
What you could also do is open the public hearing here, and you can continue it from, you don't have to conclude the public hearing today, continue it to a subsequent day.
You know what?
Without
We don't have to
republishing.
close the public,
As long as you don't close the public hearing, you can open the public hearing, take comment or not, but then continue it to a future date certain. So the publication
Yeah.
would have put people on notice to show up here at this public meeting, and then at this public meeting, you can continue the public hearing.
Here's my concern. I understand we're following statute when we say that we've got detailed information available at the meeting, but that doesn't give our citizens any time to review it. It doesn't give our citizens any time to get, any kind of informed, make an informed judgment, and not let alone have them ask questions that are pertinent to the budget. I would tend to think that, if we want true public input in an informed way, they should be informed with detailed information prior to a hearing. To me, that just seems to be the right thing to do. I mean, statutorily, yeah, we may be compliant, but I don't necessarily know if I want to support a hearing when our citizens don't have anything to go off of, other than a summary.
as a follow-up, that at first I tended to agree with you, but then, the mayor makes up a fantastic point. Public comment and input's not exclusive to public session, or the public hearing. Anyone that wants the opportunity to have their voice heard would have an opportunity to do so. We're all readily available. The mayor, the city staff in most cases is readily available, along with public comment at the initial meeting on August the 4th, which would then, if we learn something between those times, would provide us the opportunity to say, actually, is there consensus amongst the council to move this to the 21st? Because I'd like this to be taken into consideration. We have that opportunity to do so too. So I think we don't want to make the mistake of projecting that this is your only opportunity to have that input. And I think if we were to ask this evening who was here to speak on it, I'm not sure that we would have any hands. But on the other side of that, Ryan's brought up a great suggestion of continuing the public meeting as well, which would still allow us to do the same thing that we would learn through a public comment. Take that input, use it, and if necessary, make adjustments on the fly on the 4th. We have the power to do that whenever we'd like.
So Ryan, would it be, we open the public hearing and then we have a motion to continue it to the August 4th meeting? Is that the way we would handle that?
Right, that's correct. But, and Councilmember Freeman brings up a good point. You know, a public hearing is a specific thing of statutory dictate. For all practical purposes, public hearing, public comment, I mean, for your purposes, is especially on the budget, is largely the same. You know, this is unlike the zoning hearing where someone may take that appeal up to district court. That is, that's really not what we're looking at in this public hearing process, where you're sitting as a quasi-judicial body. You're sitting in your capacity as a legislative body here. You've got entire deference in your decision on the budget. So.
Well, if I may, I think that there's a significant difference between having comment from our citizens in a public forum, such as a hearing, and having comment from our citizens being sent on emails individually to council members. I think that having it as a matter of record so that individuals in the public can see it, whether it's on YouTube or through transcript or some other means, adds some weight to the process. So if the consensus of council is to continue with the hearing and then have a continuation to the next meeting, all I want is that individuals who want to speak in public forum on this in an informed way have an opportunity to do so. That's my concern.
And it sounds like what we're talking about with continuing it until the August 4th meeting is probably suitable.
Okay, here's the only problem with that, though, and that is, you know, this gets back to, how's that saying go, a lack of planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part. And I feel like if we open a hearing, and look, nobody, how many of these have we been through that nobody comments? But it's the way of doing business that I object to and have stated on many times that if it's, you know, if the public can't comment and, you know, they get the book on the same night we do, it's an impediment to all of us to have this book this late. So I feel like we're sanctioning this way of doing business, which has never existed prior to last year. And people have had many weeks and many months in prior years to, you know, vet the budget, to go through it. And again, most people probably don't, but that's our job. And I feel like if we just continue the hearing, we're just, you know, we're doing an emergency maneuver when we really should be correcting the problem forever and never, you know, put our backs against the wall in this kind of a time frame. It just is silly when we know we've been able to do it many years before.
If you're through, I'll very quickly. I know last year we asked to get the budget books earlier, and staff managed to get them together 4 days earlier than they anticipated. I know this year we were asking to get them earlier, and we're getting the books 4 days earlier than we got them last year. This afternoon, I spent time talking with the city administrator, and our intention is that with next year's budget, that we should be able to get them to council members at least 6 days earlier than we did this year. And that means that they would be available to the public the same day that the agendas are published on the Friday before the public hearing. So part of priority-based budgeting is to look at the results and make adjustments as required. And we did that from last year to this year, and we've already